What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson, the DA, and this sequel right here, Avatar: The Way of Water, right? 13 years in the making, and they're already saying that this is going to be one of the most expensive movies ever made. And I'm curious as to why they spent so much on this film, as well as do they think they're going to be able to make their money back? And even the director himself doesn't think that that's possible based on how much they've spent. Says here, The Way of Water, colossal budget, makes it one of the most expensive movies ever made. Bringing Avatar: Way of Water to the big screen has come at a cost. Let's go ahead and check this out on MovieWeb. The long-awaited Avatar: The Way of Water has cost a pretty penny to bring to the big screen, with reports claiming that the budget for the sci-fi sequel has ballooned to a monstrous $350 to $400 million, coming courtesy of the Hollywood Reporter and citing an unnamed source close to the production. It's now one of the most expensive movies ever made, and a box office gross of $1 billion would be something of a disappointment financially. Yeah, like, they're claiming here, right down here, you can see that some have already said, well, it's $250 million, and that's going to be the reported budget, okay? Then we get to this $350 to $400 million number, okay? And that's supposed to be, like the real number, right? But even James Cameron isn't even coming close to that. From Deadline, James Cameron says Avatar: The Way of Water is in the worst business case in movie history to be profitable. So here's what he had to say. The director recently opened up to GQ and said that the long-awaited Avatar sequel was very effing expensive to make and was one of the worst business case in movie history. You have to be the third or fourth highest grossing film in history? That's the threshold to break even. Time out. So, James Cameron, the director of the film, okay, this isn't just coming from some nobody. It's coming from the director of the film, probably the producer. He knows exactly what he spent on this thing. He says that the break-even number is third or fourth highest grossing film in history. So here's where we're at. Okay, Avatar #1, okay, surpassed Avengers Endgame. They re-released it, so it surpassed Avengers Endgame. Then you got Titanic. Then you got Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Then you got Avengers: Infinity War, which cracked $2 billion, okay? So he says it's got to get up into this category right here. It's either got to break this or this, okay? So maybe somewhere in between 2.1 billion, let's just say that, all right? 2.1 billion in order to break even. All right, let's bust out the old calculator. So 2.1 billion, right? That's 2.1 billion, okay? And we divide that times the general rule of thumb, 2.5 times the box office to get down to the actual budget. So you're talking about a movie that cost $840 million? That's what y'all, what are y'all doing over there, Disney? Y'all spend $840 million on this thing? What? It can't be worth that. It cannot be worth that. I mean, it simply cannot be worth that. I don't believe James Cameron. I think James Cameron doesn't know what he's talking about. Okay, or if he does know what he's talking about, then these clowns at Disney are just stupid as the sun is shining, and I don't think that these guys are that stupid. All right, 840 milli for one film? You can make 10 films for that. Man, I mean 10 good ones with nice budgets, okay? $84 million is a solid budget for a film, and you made one movie? Oh boy, man, that's the sway of a powerful producer like James Cameron. Let me tell you that. The original Avatar film was released in 2009, according to IMDb Pro. It had a budget of $237 million and was able to gross $2.9 billion worldwide, the highest grossing movie of all time. In order for The Way of Water to achieve what Cameron hopes for, it would have to overtake Star Wars: Force Awakens. We just saw that. Previously, Cameron hinted that the Avatar sequel underperformed at the box office. The third installment of the movie could be the last. It automatically needs to be the last anyway. I mean, if you guys are spending $840 million on these joints, what are y'all doing? What are they doing over there? Disney has lost the plot at this point, man. I don't know what these cats are doing. I don't know where their heads are at this point, but they're making woke garbage left and right. They're spending tons of money on 13-year-old sequels. I mean, for these guys to think that somehow people are really going to be flocking out to see this thing, and I think it's going to do okay in the box office. Don't get me wrong, all right? People are still kind of into this little world or whatever of the Navi and all this. They're kind of checking it out. The trailers have been solid. I think that, it's going to make some decent money, okay? But it's not going to I don't think it's going to get close to 2.1 billion, okay? I don't think that at all. All right. And yeah, if it underperforms, I mean, Jesus Christ, what's underperforming for this thing? You know, like $1.6 billion. Oh, that man, we underperformed. Yikes. Man, it's just amazing where Hollywood is at right now. They're just throwing money after anything and seeing what sticks to the wall. If this is true, again, I have no doubts in my mind whatsoever that The Way of Water is not going to make any kind of money. And you know, James Cameron's, like he said, the third installment of the film will be the last. Listen, James Cameron is one of my favorite directors of all time, of all freaking time. All right. And that's not going to change based on whatever this film comes out to be. You're talking about Terminator, Terminator 2, you're talking about Aliens, you're talking about True Lies. Okay. This guy has gotten the job done many, many times over the course of his career. All right. The Abyss, you know, I like the first Avatar, of course. I thought that was a solid film, not great by any stretch of the imagination. I don't think there's any question that the guy knows his way around Hollywood. He knows what he's doing. But if this guy just dropped $840 million on a movie, not realizing it, I think it's time to hang him up, Jim. Okay. Sorry, Jim, it's time to hang him up. Just, hey, you know, it's been real, folks. I'll see y'all on the other side because I can't be doing this. Disney somehow, if they drop that amount of money, you know, it's starting to make me wonder, does Disney even care about box office anymore? Like, we talk about it a lot, but even this original, like, projected number of $350 to $400 million is obscene. And it really makes you think, does Disney even need to make money off of these films anymore? Are they that big that they could care less how much these things make? Okay. You know, if somehow the bottom line is coming back to Disney Plus and that's where the future is, do they care about the box office all that much? I'm starting to wonder about that stuff. But anyway, folks, give me your thoughts and your opinions in the comments below. Thanks for watching. See you next time.